should never happen. Traffic and driving is a privilege. Whatever incident or issues happen on the road, particularly violence, there is no precedent for that, and it will not be tolerated here in Hillsborough County. Sheriff Chronister and Team 8 CSO strive to keep this community safe, and we do that each and every day. But we need that help from each and every one of you. So what happened yesterday? At approximately 5 o'clock, we had two vehicles traveling northbound on Falkenberg Road. They were heading northbound. Some accusations or driving behavior by one vehicle caused the other vehicle to get upset. And instead of handling it in a mature, adult fashion, our suspect decided to take his firearm out and fire 2 rounds, 2 shots at that vehicle. That vehicle that he fired at was driven by an 18-year-old. In the passenger seat was his sister, a 16-year-old. I was just told now that they were on their way to pick up their younger sister at Junta Middle. So if this may have transpired maybe minutes later, maybe there would be more victims. Let's talk about the suspect. He's 37 years old. Rasul Hakim, 37 years old. He took his firearm out and fired it at an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. So the person he had issue with was the driver, who was 18. The person who was struck by fire was the passenger. Was she driving the vehicle? No. She was in the car on their way to pick up their younger sister. Now, what injuries did she sustain? Miraculously, she just suffered a graze to the chin and a wound to her shoulder and her arm. Non-life-threatening injuries. But, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake about it. You're talking about inches. It was her chin. If it was a couple inches higher, it's probably maybe a homicide. Based on traffic, that is an absolute non-issue here. Every day, millions of cars are on the roadways in Hillsborough County. Your family members are there. My family members are there. I have children, and if someone had an issue with the way my family was driving and displayed a firearm, that would be an extreme issue here, and this is an extreme issue here. I just want to say how fortunate we are that that young girl was not seriously injured, and I really want everyone to take a moment and pause. Everyone here in this community needs to be safe. There is no right or reason to be violent in your behavior when you're driving. Are you saving 30 seconds because you want to go a little bit faster? Did someone inadvertently cut you off? That happens. Violence is not the answer. And if it's so egregious and that person is following you or you feel in jeopardy for your life, you pick up your phone and you call 911 and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office will handle it. So I just want to say thank you, and our prayers are with that family, and we are so thankful that no one was seriously injured. But just think of the traumatic memory that that family has to deal with for something as so senseless as a traffic issue. Thank you. Any questions?
Chief, at this time, how is the family holding up, and is the victim here still in the hospital?
I'm not sure if the victim is still there. I know she's hopefully going to go back to school tomorrow. We have victim specialists dealing with the family. We have victim specialists that help and assist families in post-traumatic situations. So they are dealing with the family, making sure they have everything they need to go through that, whether that's counseling, therapy, whatever they need. Great question.
You said this all started off with some accusations. Any idea somebody got cut off or just the basis?
Without getting into any of the details, I think it had to stem off maybe someone getting cut off, and there were some accusations that the shooter felt it was a self-defense, but there was no claims to that.
Yesterday, the crime scene was sort of in a parking lot of the shopping center. Did the cars just pull over there? Or how
So there were 3 crime scenes. There was the incident scene where the shots were fired. There was the incident scene where the suspect allegedly first started to flee, and then he pulled over and called 911. And then there was Junta Middle, where we ended up ending up getting other 911 calls as well.
Where they picked one, other scene at the middle school where they go just after they got shot at, went to go pick up their sister still.
I think they were in the process of going there, and since it was in such close proximation to Junta, initial calls to us were, they thought it was a school shooting, and clearly it was not, but how close it was to school, if it were an hour earlier, would it have been during dismissal? I mean, just think of those things. It kind of gives me chills, just based on traffic.
I know he's still in the preliminary investigation, but he said the suspect called 911 himself.
He did.
Do we know what he may have?
He alluded to, without getting into details of the investigation, he alluded that the victim's vehicle rammed his vehicle, which was untrue.
Off the top of your head, does Mr. Hakeem have any prior criminal histories before?
From what I've known, he has a previous arrest in 2014 for domestic violence battery.
Next question. With a domestic violence battery conviction, shouldn't he be prohibited from having a firearm?
He should be, but I don't know whether he was convicted or not, so we'll have to check and see for that, but we can get that answer for you. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.